Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you another video. All right, so I'm about to head to therapy in about an hour from now. Probably leave this place probably within 30 minutes. Got to be there at 1. It's only like 10:45 right now, something like that. Why is that relevant? Because I'm not ashamed to take care of my mental health and address it. And that is what I think Draymond Green needs to do. Yeah, that's right, man. Draymond Green swung around and hit Nurkic in the face yesterday in a basketball game where he was flailing his arms, saying he didn't know he was going to hit him when he was too close to him not to hit him. And we've had a conversation about this very recently. I don't remember which one of them NBA videos I did about a week ago, probably a week ago today or something like that, where I was mentioning Draymond for a good 10 minutes about how he's been hurting his team. I talked about the Golden State Warriors extensively, and I spoke about him. How for years he's been hurting his team with these type of antics. He only trails Rasheed Wallace as the player with the most ejections over the past, 15 years or whatever it's been. He's given over $3 million in fines in regards to these type of things, missed finals games and stuff like that. At this point, it's just like, man, Draymond, and I said this already, he's got to address his mental health. The stuff that works in the streets of Saginaw do not work in the NBA. And unfortunately, he's been a part of an organization that has not held him accountable in-house as to stop this behavior. And now he's moving as if this should be acceptable, or as if people are just supposed to get out of his way because he's Draymond. And I'm telling you, that enabled behavior coupled with whatever is wrong there is making it so that now he's more capable of doing worse things as he's getting older. And this is becoming a real problem. Choking one guy, you're stepping on another guy's ribs, you're slapping one guy, you're kicking other guys in the groin. I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, Dre, none of that is basketball, fam. And if we're going to get on a guy like Grayson Allen for what he used to do in college, for which he has stopped doing as he come into the league, I ain't seen none of them antics. Some of them issues he had back in the day, I'm sure he went and straightened them out. Some of that Ndamukong Suh stuff that we used to see in the NFL from that guy, excess, punishment he trying to dish out to other people, trying to hurt people for real. Draymond has that same problem, and we got to keep that same energy. And right now, and since he's basically been in the league, he's been doing things to put himself in a position to have people questioning his mental health, man. Questioning how vicious he is, questioning if he's an abuser in general. And the way he's been acting over the last year, specifically that whole choking incident, and now this with Nurkic stumping Sabonis in the chest, or the ribs or whatever, that was just like, you getting to a point where it's like, yo, where does this go? Where does this go, Draymond? And if you don't get help, forget the NBA. You're going to kill somebody, bro. And you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Somebody needs to say that, because that's not what I'm hearing. I'm listening to Stephen A. Smith, and Draymond's his boy, so he don't really want to get on him too hard. I'm hearing a lot of people taking it from a different perspective because they don't believe in mental health. So they're like, yo, he needs to be, he's being insubordinate and all of that type of stuff that doesn't take into account what's awry. And for me, I go straight to what's awry, man. Forget all that. This is a mental health concern. This guy has some serious stuff he needs to work out, probably from his childhood or something that's making him hurt people. And he needs to get help for it before he ends up throwing his life away and taking somebody else's. That's exactly what I think of Draymond Green. This is something that probably he's been able to get away with on the court, and hopefully it doesn't bleed onto off the court. But in a situation like this, I have to wonder if it's bleeding into off the court situations. And the fact that he's had guys like, Steve Kerr not hold him accountable, Bob Myers not hold him accountable, Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers, they not holding him accountable. As soon as he punched Jordan Poole in the nose, we should have known at that point that this wasn't okay. If we didn't know it at any point before that, we should have known, this guy, nah. He needs to be, for the betterment of him, needs to be held accountable so that he doesn't think that it's okay to keep doing this. And if people are too careful not to step on his toes, he's going to end up stepping on somebody's head. And it's just like that. I don't know how else to put it, you guys. I mean, this type of behavior, it seems crazy to me, man. This doesn't seem okay at all. It's the type of stuff you look at and say, yo, how bad is this in real life? How bad is this when he goes home, man? You know, we talk about all different types of stuff in regards to mental health. We've seen a lot of type of viciousness over the years from people, and you just don't know where it begins and you don't know where it ends. But one thing's for sure, if someone likes to dish out punishment where it is unnecessary to do so, you have to look at them and say, okay, they need to get that straightened out. Whether it begins and ends here or not, he needs to get it straightened out. And so that's where I'm at with Draymond Green, man. All that's, how many games should they suspend him? For me, I mean, I'm hearing that 10 games is probably the minimum. I don't really know what the right amount would be. I honestly don't have a good gauge for what would be fair in comparison to other instances, but I know that they love to get repeat offenders for different things that you've done a million times. So for me, I think you got to get him above 15, because you want to set a precedent that this shouldn't be done anymore. Not by him or anyone else. And the fact that they didn't set a strong enough precedent beforehand, nobody has. Even Adam Silver's been soft on Dre. I think it's kind of hard to give him as many games as 25 or 30 games when y'all didn't set a precedent of that magnitude at any point leading up to this moment. But 15 seems about right for all of this he's been doing, for all the type of stuff that's happened, for the fact that he could have injured people on multiple situations here. I don't think tolerance is the way to go. Even especially if you care about the person who's doing it, especially if you're a Draymond fan or a Draymond friend. You don't enable behavior that's ultimately going to lead to him falling in the end. Because that's what ends up happening with stuff like this. Either he going to hurt somebody and end up having to go to jail for a long time because of it, or somebody going to hurt him. And that's what's real too. You know, not that just because the people in that locker room don't want to swing at Draymond Green, don't mean he ain't going to run into the right one. Don't mean he ain't going to run into somebody with something big and shoot at him for trying that crap with them. If you're really his friend, and I'm being honest, if you're really his friend, you need to let him know he's 6'10" out here. Almost 270 pounds. Bro, ain't nobody going to be swinging with you on the streets, bro. At all. And so that's what I worry about. If you really care about Draymond Green, you need to get him some help for his viciousness, man. He needs real help for that, man. And it needs to be some people with some real spirits around him, some real gall around him who ain't afraid of him knocking them out, to tell him that. Because that's what I think you got right there. It's just good old-fashioned high school bullying. People who are supposed to be holding them accountable flat out don't want to get punched. And look, I'm not in that situation. I'm number 5'10". I don't know if I would even want to tell that man the truth about that. But I'm telling you in this camera, he would need that to save himself and to save whoever else he plans on hurting, man. And it can't just be, well, I just sheepishly flailed my arms and I'm sorry. Nah, bro, none of that. Not when you've done all the things that you've done, man. None of that. And so I've said this many times, and I'm disappointed in the Golden State Warriors organization as a whole. Not just for enabling him to do this, but just for not having the gall and the intestinal fortitude to make decisions about their franchise that makes sense for the entire thing. You got this great core of players who've won for a million years, but now you still want them to play the same roles they played now that they're losing, you know, some of their talent. They're getting to a point where they're getting older now. A guy like Klay Thompson, he shouldn't be playing in front of Moses Moody no more. You know what I mean? This is the type of stuff we were talking about in that video. And I really feel that way. It doesn't just speak to them not holding Draymond accountable. It speaks to them not having the guts to do real things with that group of guys that are superstars. No longer. Steph Curry's the only one that should still be starting in that lineup. Steph Curry's the only one that should be given supermax money in that lineup. All the rest of them dudes at this point, they're facing father time, and you got young players to develop, and they're not getting the roles they need. You're taking players who are hot and playing well out of the game so you can stick them old guys back in there to feel good about themselves. I'm sorry, but that speaks to everything that's wrong with the Draymond situation. Because you don't want to tell him, hey, yo, if you don't get your head on straight, we're trading you. If you don't get your head on straight, we are not giving you $250 million or whatever that contract was he just received. Y'all paid him and you let him continue to run tyrant all over the place. You're socking out young players and stuff like that, kicking the opponents, stomping them out, choking them. I mean, you guys aren't doing a good enough job of helping him get the help he needs, Golden State. Is y'all too busy enabling him, being his friend, the kind friend that enables him and ultimately gonna be the reason why he doesn't get the help he needs, as opposed to being the reason he does, man. When are we gonna look up and say Draymond got some real friends around here and not just a bunch of people who are afraid of him? You know what I'm saying? Seriously, and a bunch of people want to make money off of him. That's what I see. Oh, we need him in this lineup because if we don't, he don't have the continuity. How many of y'all actually care about this man not getting shot up for socking out the wrong person in the street, though? Because that's how this really goes, man. As somebody on this level down here, you can't be doing all that stuff he doing out there in the court, out in the streets. You can't, bro. And that's the truth, man. So at some point in time, he needs some real friends, some real family members, and get in his life and say, bro, we're not afraid of you socking us out. We're afraid of you doing that to the wrong person and end up in jail for the rest of your life. Either you're going to go get some help or you're going to lose all of us. Your job, your friends, everybody. Because at this point, who knows who you're going to sock out next? Who knows how bad it gets next on the court? You going to pick somebody up and drop them on their head next, bro? Where does this go? And if you can't see any measure from which this is a problem that you need to address, then we know it gets worse. We know that. So that's what I would say if he was my brother. That's what I would say if he was my homie. Like, yo, bro, nah. This ends with you not doing well in the end. Not just the people you hurting, bro. And for those who are not ready to tell him this is a mental health issue, that you're the problem. For those who are not telling him, yo, this is going to end badly, you're the problem. As I said in that last video, I'm 6 years older than Draymond Green, so I know the difference between being 33 and 39, where I'm at right now. I've grown a lot since then. Bumped my head a lot since then. Been fortunate enough to survive some of the stupidity I had engaged in since then. He's still in a young-minded space for where he doesn't know it's important for him to put a leash on himself. He's waiting for people who are not doing it to do it, and they're not doing it. And they don't have his back properly, and we know it. Real ones know that. And people don't have his back. If they did it, and make sure he got that help already. And not run around tiptoeing around him in nonsense. So that's what I got to say to the Golden State Warriors, man. Y'all need to trade that boy, man. He needs to be traded. He needs consequences for this. He probably needs to be suspended for 15 or more games, and he needs to be traded. Because if not, I'm going to tell you like this. It's on y'all if something goes wrong there. Legally, I don't know the first thing about what would be, right. But if I'm Nurkic, I might be suing your team. Something wrong with my eye because he hit me in the face. I'm not just suing him personally. I'm suing the Golden State Warriors. I'm suing the league. I'm suing everybody who didn't put a leash on this dude. You understand what I'm saying? That's how real that would be for me. So Draymond need to get his head straight. This ain't about sports. It's bigger than sports. He's showing signs of being an abusive human being. And that stuff is going to lead to his downfall, man. On and off the court. And somebody need to rip the Band-Aid off and say it. And it's going to be me. BDL 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.